Please.
Thank you very much. I've listened to the both speakers who are very wonderful set of people. Arnold, my very good friend, and Chief Anthony, and Mr. Francis. Basically, I believe that we all of us here, we understand the challenges and we understand the problems, which there is no doubt about that. Now, the problem is, where do we go from here? What are those things that we need to put in place? What are those structures that we need to run? It's not it's Nigeria we have enough policies, but we need enough executions of those policies. And if you ask me, one of the first things I want to say, and I've said it in one or two forums, is that if I have the power, I'll turn Nigerian Export Promotion Council from being a promotion council to a trade facilitation council. Away. Enough of promotions. This is now time for them to do a little bit more when it comes to trade facilitation. We give them power to go into joint venture, to go into stakeholders and partnerships so that we can push non-oil export forward. Then in the course of the two speakers, they identified the same major problem, quality, made in Nigerian goods, difficulty in accessing international market. Then this brings to fore the role of diaspora. It is also very good. It is always very good when products are market driven. When the demand is coming from the market. If the diaspora wakes up today and say they are interested in pushing made in Nigerian products, two things happen. They are aware of the parameters of the quality. They are aware of the import restrictions, import demand, import rules, import procedure, which an average exporter does not have. Then they come in from that angle and come to the country and say, this is what we want.
Yes.
Now it becomes easier for the cooperative thing to work. It becomes easier for exporter to key into it because they have the parameter in place, including all the certifications and quality that they need. So that is one major role, which is one of the reasons why we have in the conference, that diasporans should start looking at those loopholes, those opportunities, those demands, and take advantage of them. For example, let's look at Ola Ola. Ola Ola knows that flour, poundo yam is basically African food. It comes to Nigeria, takes the raw, goes to America, package it well, and sell it all over the world. The man is selling all over the place. The same thing with Olu Olu. Why? They came with the idea of market driven. They're coming from America, they're coming from Europe, and they look at the demands and they're able to meet up with it. Then, in the absence of that, if the diasporans are not working, how do we work on the private sector? Then the next structure we need to consider seriously, which we're already doing, is the trade house. The trade house will push the product to them in the market. They'll see it. And because the product is in an institution, they will have a little bit of credibility and trust, and the capacity can be discussed, and continuity can be discussed, quality can be discussed, and then we come back home. We make it another market driven again to say, okay, we have this demand XY, and we need to organize our market so that our production, so that we can meet with the demand. To solve international access to international market, we need the diasporans like anything, and then we need the establishment of regional or global trade house driven by Nigeria in collaboration with any other country that they are working with. Then another thing that came to fore basically here is the issue of informal export. Like I want to say to Chief Tony, you are sitting on a gold mine in Kano, believe you me. And I believe God has placed you in that role to see that gold mine and open it up, and then you yourself you'll be shocked as to what you have in place in Kano. Kano, the Wanu market in Kano is the biggest, largest West African agro-commodity market in West Africa, in Africa as a whole. There is no market as big as that market. Every manufacturers, both small, medium in the food and the food-related industry, depends on that market. Every exporter of agro-commodity depends on that market. I visit the market or something. I just came out from Kano like three weeks ago. I go there, purchase my export products. Everybody comes in there. So that's one area that Kano need to look into. The major problem there, why Kano is not getting the revenue that they need to get, is the level of informal exports that take place in the Kano market. thousands, I'm not saying hundreds, thousands of trucks are loaded every day, and they find their way into Niger, they find their way into through Maradi, they find their way into Burkina, they find their way into Cote d'Ivoire with onion, with garlic. They move like in droves. If Chief can really look at that market and see how he can form a linkage between the aggregators in that market and the end user, which are the large industries in Nigeria, then there'll be a lot of backward integration in terms of capacity building, in terms of income generation, in terms of poverty alleviation for people in Kano. So those are the key areas that I just want to make some level of input. Then in the textile industry, we're currently working similar to what everybody have said here. In our last meeting on the textile industry, we're coming up with a training, same side with the cooperative. The cooperative is going to train, we're going to put an advert in the paper looking for people that want to be trained. And they will train them in specific areas of garments. And every one of them that is trained will be part and parcel of the cooperative. So that in any case, any of the large exporters have a big order, they know who and who and who and who that they need to call, that they need to bring in to come and sew a specific area of that garment or the textile, because they have been trained by that same cooperative. So those are the kind of things we're looking at also at the NASIMA Export Group in order to form collaboration and stakeholders meeting.
Yes.
So that's just my small input. Thank you.
And thank you, Barrister Kola, for pulling me into. I follow the conversations in the textile. Again, I'm practicing patience. I'm practicing patience because, you know, few years ago, I spoke to the CEO of Walmart and I was like, Nigeria, buy more from Nigeria. And he said, what does Nigeria want to sell? I was like, I'll be right back. And then I said, this. He was like, okay, show us. But you know our capacity, you know our requirement. Don't just bring anything here. So right now, I'm like, let's go back home, do our mobilization capacity development, because the powers that be, they are ready to see. Because for me, for years, I've been saying trade with Africa, and they're watching me. Even the senior vice president of Global Sourcing said, Tony, I know you've been talking to us. Like, where is that capacity? Where is that volume? I'll be right back. For me, I'm like, I'll be right back. Yes. We still have some work to do back home. I'll be right back. All that thoughts right there. So for me, that's the challenge I'm saying, is that we have open channels of conversation with the biggest players. I have my name and my brand to protect. And the reason this platform was created is to fast track and accelerate all this work.
So you'll be shocked. We have members, about 3 members that have gotten orders in the past for 10,000 units, 5,000 units. They went for trade show in UK, and the first question they asked them, where's your line sheet? And can you produce XY? And that was like, they were just like looking like this. Those are the bases where we're coming up with it. Yes, that's why we're coming up with these strategies now. The strategies is going to be like, we're going to train a lot of them, put them in a pool of human resource, and have them within the same cooperative. They are going to be members and part and parcel of the same cooperative. So even the issue of a staff leaving one staff to go to the other staff, those all will be off, because somebody is migrating from one person to the other person because of salary increase. There's a pool of resources already in place, so they can equally call somebody else within the pool to take over the place of the designer or the cutter or the sewer. So we're working on it. So I want to appeal to you. They should give us a little bit of time.
Oh yes, yes.
We're coming up. We're coming up very fast. You will see the advert. You're part of it. Your name is going to be on the advert too, so that people know that we're serious about what we're doing in terms of access to market and everything.
For me, so I've had to come up with 2 strategies. One strategy is, yes, I know work is going on, and I'm saying let's move towards the bigger player, because I know what the bigger player. I led that, so I cannot present anything to them that is not at the quality and the exceptionality that is expected. But in the interim, what I've also done, and I've shared this with you personally, is for the SMEs. I just launched my own brand on Amazon, meaning even if you don't have the capacity, we've opened a channel under which we can start your textile as they are producing, because you have to walk your way. I mean, we have to crawl before we, run, before we jog, before we sprint. Yes. So whatever. So that's why for me, patience is being my motto now. It's like, okay, calm down. Yes, we want to go for the bigger. That's the future. I've seen the future. The systems that I help build, they are live auctions that China is participating in. They bid live. We'll just open the bid and say, hey, we want to buy for 2021, 2022. This is the buying we want to do. And then Chinese firms will come on and say, we can produce this, this is our capacity. And they're negotiating. There are times we do forward auction, reverse auction. They will be bidding against themselves. I can produce this at this price. Because when I even say there is buying opportunity, it is what the word I want to use is, it is extremely competitive, because this is not oil. That's why we say non-oil. In oil, Nigeria has a upper hand, because people cannot just say, oh, yeah, if you don't play with us, we will go elsewhere. No, they will say, we want your oil. What are your terms? So they will play to the terms of Nigeria. It's now reversed in the non-oil space, because global buyers have options. If you don't, Vietnam, China, Bangladesh, they have options. So we now also have to understand power, the buying conditions. And one thing we have going right now, especially in US markets, because I shared US controls 40% of global wealth, AGOA is underutilized. I have used it and I've seen some of the bottlenecks of what's going on. But AGOA is US attempt to say, we'll reduce tariff. Instead of charging 15, 20% on your textile, we'll bring it down to 0. But our non-tariff barriers remain high. Standards, if you're bringing in agriculture, FDA, just like NAFTA. So all of those things is what Nazaru is helping. So thank you again. Yes, we know where we're going, right? We know what the future looks like. We know the game plan. But in the interim, we also want to start opening channels for the SMEs through channels like, Amazon's, right? They may not require the volume, but if you can standardize, you can start bringing things and putting it and marketing it on Amazon.
Those are the things we're looking at. We're looking at smaller buyers.
Smaller,
like Zara.
yes.
Smaller Zara that want 5,000, 1,000. Those are the we're looking at. Yeah, we're looking at those ones. Then quietly we start scaling up production for them to get to the
yes.
So that we're working on it. Like I said.
Yes, I know. Trust me. That's why I'm saying the doers. We talked about not just policies, like you said. Let's do and honor Sir Arnold too. Part of my conversations with him too is the mobilization of the work. So you have us. Leverage our platform to activate this.
With the letter coming up, with the AFCTA coming up now, Morocco is going to send their letter, finished products to Nigeria. Then a lot of finished product letters in Nigeria, leather products in Nigeria, they're going to face a lot of competition. And Nigeria being what we are.
Yes.
We want to go for Moroccan leather products.
I agree with you,
Mr.
Awa.
I want to go for Moroccan. So it's right time that we start opening up the market for these leather people with made in Nigerian products, made in Nigerian label, put it right in front of their face. Let them know our potentials. Let them know that some of these things you're calling Moroccan leather was brought from here. By the time we have a trade house that slap this thing on them, and the trade house is manned by their own people. If I'm in the Morocco trade house, I put Moroccan staff there. He speaks the language of Nigeria to them, and that's the way to go. They build the confidence in their people. They try the first one, try the second one, try the third one, and they say, this is the way to go.
Wow.
I said it 2 ways. It's either the diaspora comes in and gives us the market requirement, or we just go in and slap products on their face, quality products.
Toyin, there was an aspect that was touched on by Mr. Jackson.
This conversation will not just stop like most of us have agreed.
I didn't get that. Honorable Anthony, please go on.
Okay, so there was an aspect that was touched on by Mr. Jackson on the value chain. One of the things the Kano State government has done is to invite, if you remember during the Ruga crisis when the Kado heading and everything, the Kano State government asked